doped up.
People started dying off. People started ODing, dying, just became, useless, worthless junkies. And that was the most effective diffuser of the revolution that they...
You can't take it with you. The Egyptians tried it. All they got was robbed. So I don't put the value in monetary and
How you doing, Denzel? How you doing tonight, man?
America's one of those strange kind of countries. I mean, everybody thinks it's, the gold standard or something, but, 70% of Americans don't even have passports. They don't even leave the country. They don't have a real worldview.
When Denzel Washington and Samuel L. Jackson joined forces to warn you about Hollywood, you better listen. These two have been in this industry for decades, and they've both been saying some real interesting stuff lately about modern male actors. And you don't even gotta dig that deep to see what's happening right now. Just look at the male actors coming up today. Half of them are out here taking roles that make them look foolish, doing things that don't even make sense for their image, wearing dresses, playing degrading roles. They're basically showing they're willing to do just about anything for money and fame. And it's not even just the stuff you see on screen. What happens behind closed doors in Hollywood is even worse. Humiliation rituals, loyalty tests, all types of weird initiation stuff just to get in the room. Now, I'm not saying every single actor is out here doing all that, but the pattern is hard to ignore. And Denzel and Samuel have been trying to tell us about this for years. Let me start with Denzel. You got this clip that resurfaced again, where Brandon T. Jackson was on a podcast talking about Denzel, and he said Denzel warned him about Hollywood parties years ago and told him to leave before the devil gets there.
Denzel always told me we'd be at the parties. He said, you leave 30 minutes for the devil get there. Okay? Always remember that Denzel would leave the parties early.
And now we know exactly what parties he was talking about. We got reports coming out now about a 2003 party Denzel went to with his wife Pauletta, and they saw something that made them storm out. Eyewitnesses later said Denzel screamed at Diddy, "You don't respect anyone." And then there's also this clip of Denzel leaving a Hollywood party early, and you can tell just by his face that he saw something that genuinely disturbed him.
Y'all make sure he gets down?
Here you go. Flag it up, flag it up. No, come up.
Go ahead.
Come on up.
He literally looked like he was thinking, what on earth did I just witness? And he doesn't look intoxicated either. He looks like he came, he saw, he left, and never looked back. And it makes sense when you hear what other people who went to those parties. Remember when Cat Williams talked about what male actors do at mansion parties, and we thought he was just joking?
Motherfuckers be gay in Hollywood, you never expected. They be having these big mansion parties, and the mansion party, the whole mansion is a party, and then it's a separate party in the little rooms. I ain't been famous that goddamn long. I'm excited in a gonna be at the mansion party. You be looking in all the goddamn rooms, and you around and look in the wrong room. And Nick, come here. Is that two kissing? Is one of them Professor Opie? He came out the closet. Oh my God, run.
And then even before Cat, there was Professor Griff. Funny how they destroyed his career quickly as soon as he started talking about the rituals in the industry and how young male entertainers are recruited into this.
The homosexual ritual, this is where the homo came out against it, but I didn't mind. I wasn't talking about homosexuality. I'm saying there's a homosexual ritual that they go through in the Illuminati secret societies, and it is. So when I mentioned that about it marrying itself on to hip-hop, they said, well, can you prove it? Yeah. Go back and go online and read where Tupac said he was asked by Quincy Jones to in the ass. When Tupac said no, that's when Tupac was mocked to death.
So a lot of people knew, and they tried to warn us. Denzel was one of them, and he was telling people straight up, get out before the devil shows up. But that's not the only warning Denzel gave us. Let me take you back to 1986, when Denzel was just coming up. He got offered a role where they wanted him to play a slave, but not just any slave. They called it the N-word. They couldn't That was the actual title they were working with. But here's the part that really gets me. Denzel said the Hollywood executives in the room thought it was funny. They were laughing about a black man getting lynched on screen. However, when Denzel looked at them and asked if it would still be funny if their historical trauma was exploited for laughs, they were left speechless. Listen to this.
I got a part in a movie in 1986. I called it They Couldn't Kill. Oh. Yeah, he was supposed to be, he raped a white woman, and they tried to electrocute him, but it didn't work. And he became sort of a cult hero. And then they tried to hang him, and they tried to do all this stuff, and I had a lot of training day in me. And there were some Jewish people in the audition, and I said, yeah. They said, no, it's funny. It's like they hang them and then they can't. I said, yeah, like you bring some Jewish people into a room and they think it's a shower, but it's gas. Oh. And they said, right. I said, right. That ain't funny. So to me, it wasn't funny about putting a rope around my MFing neck either. I made a point. The guy was like, who the hell is this little nigga coming in? Talking like this.
And did you notice the only time the audience made a sad sound was the shower part? They were laughing throughout the entire video when he was talking about lynching. So they can laugh or joke about black pain, but once you try that same antic, it's a reality check. But the worst part is that so many black actors these days are happy to go along with this. They take on degrading roles. They play slaves in white savior stories. They mock black women. And when asked about it, they play dumb. And same with music. Go look at any top rap song right now. Black men rapping about killing each other, putting down black women, calling them all kinds of names, about being locked up. And this is something Denzel recognized early on. So he said no to degrading roles, to the industry parties, to a promiscuous lifestyle. And that's why he's still standing today with his integrity intact, married to the same woman for more than 40 years. Now, on the other hand, we also have to ask ourselves, how many actors felt like they couldn't say no? How many took those roles because they needed the money and had to eat? Because they were told this was the only way? Or because they couldn't understand the fine print on the contract? Denzel was one of the few who could afford to walk away. But sadly, many fell into the trap before they even realized what was going on. So what's the solution? Well, when Denzel was recently asked what advice he'd give to aspiring actors, here's what he said.
For any aspiring actors who want to break the boundaries, who want to push doors, exactly what you have done, what advice do you have?
Learn to act on stage. Mm-hmm. Don't rely on social media. Mm-hmm. Put it down, turn it off, shut up, be quiet, learn, read, relax. Get better. First part of your life you learn, second part of your life you earn, third part of your life you return.
Can you be my therapist?
I already am.
Now let's bring in Samuel L. Jackson, because what Sam's been saying connects perfectly to all of this. Before he was the highest grossing actor of all time, Sam was at the funeral of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as an usher. He was involved with the Black Panther Party, and he even held members of Morehouse College's Board of Trustees hostage to advocate for education reform. This man was out here in the streets, actually fighting for the cause. So when Sam talks about how the system works, he's not just some privileged actor talking. He's somebody who saw what happened to the movement and how they tried to break the resistance. Now, Sam's been in over 100 films. He's the highest grossing actor in history, and you don't get to that level without seeing some things. But here's where it gets really connected to what Denzel was saying. Both of these men came up together, and they've been friends for 45 years. Denzel called Sam family and said he's basically his children's uncle. They live close to each other. Their kids grew up together. So when they're both saying the same things about Hollywood, that's not a coincidence. And Sam's take on all of this is that Hollywood is just a propaganda machine. Now let's talk about what Sam's been saying about the CIA, because that's where everything starts to connect. So let me tell you something about Sam Jackson that a lot of people don't know. After Sam got involved with the Black Panther Party, the FBI showed up at his mother's door in Tennessee and told her something bad was going to happen to him if she didn't get him out of Atlanta. His mother then came to Atlanta, took him to lunch, drove him to the airport, bought him a ticket to LA, and told him to get on the plane and not get off until he got there. And she told him why later. Now think about that for a second. The FBI was actively pulling black men out of the movement. They saw Sam Jackson as a threat. Sam eventually became an actor, but he never forgot where he came from, and he's been dropping truth ever since. Sam has spoken about how the CIA was involved in flooding black communities with deadly substances. You had the civil rights movement, the Black Power movement, and then suddenly, all these hard substances started showing up in the neighborhoods.
The most drastic thing that happened in the summer of '69 was all of a sudden they took all the marijuana and all the hallucinogens were taken out of Atlanta. And the only drug you could buy was buy was heroin. And we were users, so we started using.
Good planning. Get them doped up.
People started dying off. People started ODing, dying, just became, useless, worthless junkies. And that was the most effective diffuser of the revolution that they, came up with, and it worked. But to be in what we really thought was a revolution, I mean, people were dying. I remember when Dr. King was assassinated. I flew from Atlanta to Memphis and marched with, those people that night.
And Sam's whole point about Hollywood is that it's just another arm of that same machine to distract, entertain, and pacify. They want black men on screen as gangsters, as clowns, as slaves, but not as revolutionaries. And Sam knows this. He's been living it his whole life. Now think about how many black male actors you see today who are clearly not themselves. You can see it in their eyes. It's like they're dead behind the smile. The way they move through interviews like they're walking on eggshells. They never say anything controversial. They never speak on anything real. It's like they've been neutered. I mean, they sure talk a lot, but they just say a bunch of nothing. Will Smith is a prime example.
And find a higher power in my humanity than I found in my constellation of ideas of perfection that we called Will Smith. The fullness of who I am, to allow that to be better than Will Smith. The honesty and the authenticity and the broader spectrum of the possibilities of who I am is actually better than Will Smith. So that, like, working in that space of authenticity and honesty and imperfection, allowing that to grow into a higher perfection than the imagery of Will Smith is where I am as an artist and as a human right now.
Now, Denzel and Sam never let that happen to them. But what about all the others who didn't make it? The ones who said yes too many times and lost themselves, ended up broke, addicted, or worse. How many black men has this industry chewed up and spit out because they couldn't say no? At the end of the day, the only thing you can do as an aspiring entertainer is take Denzel and Sam's advice. Learn, work hard, and protect your soul. Whatever that means to you. Whether it's God, your family, your community, just hold on to something that keeps you grounded, because this industry will try to strip everything away from you. Now I want to hear your thoughts on all of this. Do you think it's even possible to make it in Hollywood these days without selling your soul? Was resistance only possible in Denzel and Sam's generation? Or do actors still have the power to push back? Drop your comments below and stay tuned for the next video.